So, it's been a long time since the last Pokemon movie came out. After a combination of a deadly disease and a man-made one messed up this planet for nearly a decade, things are slowly going back to normal. Or at least the best definition of normal nowadays. Naturally, this has meant a delay on several things, including media. So, it was kind of surprising to see them release the 23rd Pokemon movie after keeping it in storage for nearly a decade. I mean, what else could they have done in that time? Remake the first movie in a terrible looking art style that looks like it would barely pass for PS3 graphics? I mean, that would be silly. So here we have Pokémon the Movie, Secrets of the Jungle. Another continuation of the I Choose You timeline, to my surprise, as this now ties with the Diamond and Pearl trilogy for Pokemon films that follow up from the events of the last film. Now, unlike everyone's story, I didn't go into this with negative emotions based off the trailer. It looked fine to me, and I thought it was going to be a decent Pokemon movie, and to my surprise, this film met my expectations, and then some. No, it's not as good as the previous movie in the I Choose You timeline, but it is better written than I Choose You. Why is that? Well, let's dive in. Also, spoiler warning. So sometime after the events of everyone's story, Ash and Pikachu travel to Milliford Town to do some more Pokemon catching, yet again forgetting his fucking Charizard. I don't know, maybe it's on strike or something, or looking for those Pokemon Oreos. As he makes his way through the nearby forest, he encounters a child around his age named Coco, and the two become tangled up in a plot by the Biotope Company's president, who wants to take the nearby forest's mythical water at the cost of destroying the forest and the tree that houses this mythical water. He's then stopped by Ash and friends, and gets arrested for his crimes.
Listen, it was all for a gender reveal party.
Now, as a story, it's fine. It has decent pacing throughout, the twists were well executed, including the truth about Coco's parentage, and there weren't any plot holes that I noticed, so that is a plus. Sure, the message about saving the environment and accepting others is a bit ham-fisted in terms of execution, but it didn't ruin my enjoyment of the movie, and it was more so an inconvenience at best. Really, my only issue with the story is Zed's plan, and even that's not a major issue in the grand scheme of things. The dude wants the mythical water that heals people, but as I was watching this movie with my family, I was wondering why he would want it in a world that has creatures with magical abilities already, including Pokemon that can revive dead plants and filter out polluted water, like Meganium and Suicune. Really, with the exception of lost limbs, even a Pokemon like Blissey or similar could do what this water does, and potentially in less time too. So, okay, Zed's plan is kinda stupid, even to the point of killing Coco's parents over them not giving up the research to him, but how is Zed himself? Well, pretty bad character-wise. He's crazy, sure, but not in a memorable way, or even in a way that would allow us to analyze him further and potentially sympathize with, like with the Joker movie. Zed's just an unlikable douchebag that goes crazy and constantly blabs and bitches about everything, and I'm sorry, pal, there can only be one unlikable prick that constantly blabs and bitches about everything here, and this one has better color coordination than your Modern Warfare palette-inspired ass. He's far from threatening, he chews the scenery at points, and only got to where he is in the story because either people were too stupid to kick him out, and or see through his easily broken facade, or had a neck that was super-de-duper powerful and could only be stopped by a battery on its back being destroyed. Oh, wait a minute. Now that could have stopped him earlier when he yeeted the pilot from his seat, but I guess they were just so surprised that the guy who put a tracker on a child that they followed to find the tree, and also was the only one to return the night Coco's parents died, was a bad person all along.
You guys fucking suck.
But I digress. Like I said, that was my only major issue with the film's story, so let's move into the characters Sans said, since I just talked about him. Ash is the same as he normally is in these movies, a nice kid with a heart of gold, has good chemistry with Pikachu and Pokemon, has a good friendship with Coco in this movie, though this movie also delves into his bond with his dad a bit, and it's not anything special, just the whole never give up on your dreams. A good moral, and certainly one I taught Diane when she was growing up. I just kinda wish we had a bit more of Ash and his dad on screen. Still though, nice to see a mention of his dad in the series. Probably won't stop the theories of who his dad is though, but yeah, it was a nice gesture at least. So, speaking of Coco, let's talk about him next. I actually liked his character. He had good chemistry with Ash and his Pokemon dad. I liked his character arc, especially at the end where he goes off on his own journey to be the bridge between humans and Pokemon since he's both so rude and human. Okay, not literally, but you know, nature versus nurture shit. Although, considering Coco uses jungle healing to save his dad later in the movie, that may not be too far off after all. Speaking of, I'm cool with the idea of Coco using this ability, even if he's not a Pokemon. This is the same series that has telepaths, stalking Pokemon, and even trainers in Pokemon who can use the Pokemon variant of the Force. Compared to those, having Coco do this is far from a big deal to me. Hell, considering how much I love the father-son dynamic of Coco and Zarude, I probably would have loved this movie even more if these two were the main characters and not Ash. I know Ash is there for familiarity and all that shit, but hey, these two have good chemistry, their own well-written character arcs, and growing up and finding their own future / path in life, which are executed well for the record, and play a good part in the climax where they take on Zed's mech, since that isn't what happened here. It is what it is, and these two are still great characters regardless. Even Team Rocket gets some decent bits in this film, as they help get the footage needed to put Zed away for a long time, and also has some good moments with the second Bascalar bird, so that's a plus. Speaking of decent bits, that climax where all the Pokemon and Ash work together to take down his mech, that's good shit. Very exciting, decently choreographed, pretty well animated for the most part, fluid and concise, easily the best animated part of the movie, and maybe even one of the best animated parts of any Pokemon movie, if you want to exaggerate a bit. Though, speaking of the animation, I think it looks good in this movie. Sure, the art style isn't as vibrant or well detailed as when Wit Studio handled this series, but it's appealing to the eye. The animation itself is pretty fluid and good for the most part. Lighting is good. Even the CGI is decent. Sure, it's not PS4 or 5 worthy, definitely not 6, but it's a step up from the CGI everyone's story had. As for the audio, it was fine. Probably the weakest part of the movie though I will say, vocal performances were pretty good. And also, funny story, Coco's Pokemon dad is voiced by Edward Bosco. Yes, seriously.
No way! How could I lose?
The stronger the icon of sin is on Earth, the stronger the will come.
Damn monkey!
A pity that's all I can praise regarding the audio, because the soundtrack of this movie, save for one song, fucking sucks. It's low energy, energetic, forgettable schlock, and that sucks, because I would have thought the time between the two movies would have meant an improvement on the soundtrack portion, but no, that's not even close to the case. The only song I liked from the soundtrack was the song Always Safe, and that was because the lyrics were pretty good, composition was catchy, and it didn't bore me like the rest of the soundtrack did. A pity that it's the opening song to this movie, so it's like the highest point of the roller coaster, and then the rest of this movie's soundtrack is a long descent to the fucking bottom. Okay. Enough overacting, let's wrap this up. Overall, Pokémon the Movie, Secrets of the Jungle is a good movie. Sure, it's not better than everyone's story, but the story was fine, dynamic between Coco and his dad were good, animation was good, it's an overall enjoyable film with some bumps along the way. I'd rank it in the middle of the I Choose You series, and honestly probably number 5 or 6 in my rankings of all the Pokemon movies. So, yeah, give it a shot if you're a Pokemon fan. As for me, I'm gonna retreat back into hibernation or something, I suck at making jokes, and until we meet again, I'm David Grimm, and thank you for watching.